So our next speaker represents the country which probably has put most effort in the shortest time into polar research. After having established 5 research stations in Antarctica, the Republic of China is now showing an increasing interest in the Arctic. The international research community welcomes a closer collaboration with China in the polar regions. So it's a great pleasure for me and a great honor to introduce the People's Republic of China's Special Representative for the Arctic, His Excellency Feng.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. In the past 3 years, the Arctic Circle has become the most dynamic and viable multilateral platform for comprehensive discussion on Arctic issues and serves as the useful complement to intergovernmental processes. The Assembly has become the biggest annual gathering for countries and relevant stakeholders to exchange views and enhance cooperation in the Arctic. On the last Assembly, China has successfully held a country session in which China manifested its clear policy vision of respect, cooperation, and win-win towards the Arctic affairs. We treat mutual respect as the foundation, international cooperation as the approach, and the materialization of win-win as the aim. Further, China has developed 6 policy guidelines. First, further explore and understand the Arctic. For us, it is even true. Second, protect and rationally use the Arctic. The third, respect the inherent rights of Arctic countries and indigenous peoples. Fourth, respect the rights of non-Arctic countries and the overall interest of the international community. Fifth, build a multi-tiered Arctic cooperation framework for win-win results. Sixth, upheld the Arctic governance system based on existing international law. The visions and guidelines constitute the basic framework and elements of China's Arctic policy. China will continue to advocate them while engaging in the Arctic governance responsibly and constructively. Now the Arctic is facing rapid climate change and various environmental threats. It is the common expectation of the international community to understand, protect, develop, and govern the Arctic as a region for common benefit. Cooperation plays a fundamental role, and I would like to describe the Arctic cooperation in 3 words. First, inclusive. Inclusive cooperation recognizes the Arctic issues are not only regional, but could also be transregional, or even global. The Arctic, non-Arctic countries and relevant stakeholders should work together to respond to the Arctic challenges, shouldering the responsibilities for the Arctic peace and stability, maintaining ecological environment, taking good care of its traditions and culture, benefiting together from Arctic development. Inclusive cooperation could narrow down differences, eliminate doubts, while gaining consensus and expand the common interest. Second, comprehensive. Comprehensive cooperation acknowledges that all aspects of the Arctic issues are closely interrelated and needs integrated analysis and solution. The Arctic cooperation has already expanded from scientific to all levels of the Arctic issues, further advancing exchanges and interaction in the areas like ecological environment, climate change, sustainable development, and people-to-people exchanges. would benefit deeper understandings of the Arctic exchange and development, and thus improve the adaptability of human beings to the changes of the Arctic. Third, diversified. That diversified cooperation refers to improving Arctic cooperation and the mechanism at different levels, including the global, regional, and bilateral, among different participants, including countries, entities, and other stakeholders, through different modalities, conventional and unconventional. We believe that through diversified cooperation, a better institutional system could be put in place for the sustainable development in the Arctic. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arctic has a unique role in the global climate change. Climate change is one of the main factors for the rapid changes in the Arctic, requiring joint efforts of the international community to address. The Paris Agreement adopted last year is a milestone in the process of responding to the urgent threat of climate change. China has made tremendous effort to facilitate the early entry into force and the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Before the recent G20 summit in Hangzhou, China, China and the United States jointly submitted the ratification of the Paris Agreement to the Secretary General of the UN, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. On my way to Iceland, a piece of wonderful news spread so quickly that two conditions for the Paris Agreement to enter into force have been met, and the agreement will become in force on the 4th of November. China will continue to pay high attention to the mutual influence between the global climate system and the Arctic, and share no efforts to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Ladies and gentlemen, inclusiveness gathers strength, and cooperation achieves win-win results. The future of the Arctic relates not only to the well-being of the Arctic region and its peoples, but also to the overall interest of the entire international community. An Arctic that enjoys a sound ecosystem, advanced science and technology, peace and stability, and sustainable development serves the interest of us all and calls for our shared responsibility. China is ready to cooperate with other countries in an inclusive, comprehensive, and diversified manner, and to make our contribution to a brighter future of the Arctic. Thank you for your kind attention.